Hello, everybody, and welcome to a podcast because everyone has a podcast these days. So we're tentatively calling it the Hearsay Machine. It might change at some point. And I am joined today by Cynical Who
Hello.
and Tom Harries.
Hi.
So, hello, welcome
I
to
like
this
I like
podcast.
the change between I did a really sort of low suggestive in a way, hello, and then Tom just burst out. Hi guys, it's Tom Harries. Anyway.
Hi, guys.
I'm just optimistic, I don't know.
So, obviously, Tom Harries, a lot of people in the YouTube community would probably know you better as Tharries, but you
Yeah.
haven't gone by that name for quite a while now, actually.
Yeah.
So, do you want to kind of talk us through that? Kind of explain how come that happened?
Yeah, sure thing. So obviously I started doing Tharry stuff, I want to say, it was late 2018, but back then it was just me recording my thoughts about current Doctor Who on my phone. It was very rudimentary, very basic.
We all have to
Basically,
start somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. And then obviously, I basically just did it to vent my frustrations at the show, like most Doctor Who fans do, to be honest.
So not much has changed since then.
No, not much has changed. I was in no way original, and obviously slowly started to pick up momentum. I obviously, I think a lot of people just sort of resonated. I think there was this growing feeling of discourse about the new stuff online, and I think that's why people resonated with it. I was in a weird spot because whilst I was sort of uttered in the same breath as some of the more, shall we say, infamous individuals, I didn't share their core ideologies and values really, so I was sort of in this weird sort of middle spot.
Kind of a limbo, yeah.
Yeah, where no one really liked me. That's all. Especially on the side who liked it, but obviously the people on the other side who had certain views didn't like me either because I didn't really follow.
Yeah, you weren't as extreme as them.
No,
so.
I like to try and be as fair to things as I can be. I like to try and give things a fair shake, even if I think they're going to be bad. I think, when Whittaker was announced, I was totally willing to give it a go. I was actually thinking it would be a clean slate, especially after what Moffat had sort of, it started to become very complicated. So I was kind of happy with a fresh slate, even though I wasn't 100% sure about a female Doctor in the beginning because we never had one.
It was kind of a soft reboot in a way. I know we had that with Series 10, but this was kind of more of a hard, soft reboot, if that makes sense.
Yeah, this was even more of this was like a complete reset to everything in it.
Yeah.
And that hasn't really happened since arguably Rose.
Pretty much, yeah.
And obviously I was willing to accept that. I know some people, as soon as Whittaker was announced, just, nope. I was like, I wasn't like that.
I mean, at the start, back when she was announced, I was sort of quite, not like a red pill kind of, not like really extreme or anything, but I was kind of like that kind of contrarian stuff. This was before I made videos. But then over the years, I kind of just mellowed out and realised, who wants to be annoyed about stupid stuff like that,
Well, that was kind of why the rebrand came into play, was because of, essentially, I'd built the entire brand of Tharries off of hating the new stuff.
Yeah.
And I realised over, basically once Series 12 was over, I realised the only way that the videos performed how I wanted them to was by me complaining about 13 and about this new era.
It's not really sustainable,
no,
is it?
No, it wasn't. It wasn't sustainable in the slightest. And I think as well, it started to have a sort of toll on me, mentally, because trying to be angry constantly and being this sort of cynic constantly
just kind of brings
to
you down.
After a while.
Yeah.
And I don't think I paced myself very well for that. And I very much honestly didn't expect the reception that I got when I did start doing this. I never actually expected anyone to watch this.
Right, so, because it was a big risk, wasn't it? Because you basically completely wiped the slate and Like for
No.
a second, because I didn't know about it at first. I was like, "Is he okay? You know, like, what just happened?"
Yeah, no, it was a big risk, and I was completely expecting to just
Yeah.
have a complete, like, my channel was gonna like either float or fly in a way. This was this make or break moment.
Yeah, because you have to like start the grind back from the beginning, basically.
Essentially, yeah, it's essentially like kind of like Series 11 itself. It was like
Yeah.
a reset in itself, and it was a huge gamble because I built it entirely off of Doctor Who related stuff. I didn't really talk
Yeah.
about anything else other than like I remember doing one mashup parody which was like Back to the Future meets Doctor Who, like a fan trailer. That's about the extent of my ventures into other territories.
Yeah.
Save for like a few live streams and podcasts where I mention other topics. So this was a huge gamble, and obviously it's slowly starting to pick back up. Like I haven't
Yeah.
perfected it yet. Like I'm still
Well, you know,
sort of cracking
it's
the
still
code.
it's still kind of early for your rebrand in
Yeah,
a way.
very much so.
You have plenty of time to try and kind of perfect the formula.
Yeah, but to my surprise, you know, I was expecting everyone to just unsubscribe and leave. That's kind of
Unsubscribe,
how
quite frankly. Yeah.
yeah.
It's-
That's what I was expecting to happen. I was expecting a mass exodus. Of people.
Hashtag not my Tharries.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was expecting, and to my surprise, if like most people stuck around.
I
Yeah,
think
I
that
saw it.
has something to do with the fact that you're now making more general content. It's not like you've completely switched over to something like Marvel content or a certain type of music or whatever. It's commentary videos which sort of talk about everything that's going on in the world. So it's not like
Yeah.
a lot of people. Surprisingly, a lot of Doctor Who fans also have lives outside of Doctor Who, so they are
Really?
gonna somewhat find some
Seems to
enjoyment
be.
out of that content.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that claim. I want some
Yeah.
evidence to back that one up.
It's news to me. But
They're certainly
no,
intrigued by
like
it.
for sure the rebrand is obviously it's gone better than I actually ever expected it to be honest. Obviously slowly it's starting to pick back up. Like Jake Paul has actually probably saved me a little bit. I won't
Yeah,
lie.
because those videos have done really well.
Yeah, they were sort of the ones that and the PewDiePie Floor Gang video. Those videos sort of showed me that okay, there is a market for this, and I'm not just like
Yeah.
throwing stuff at a wall and it's not sticking. There is stuff that is
That-
sticking.
yeah.
It's just to find a way of continuing to get them to stick. And I haven't abandoned Doctor Who. I will be covering Revolution of the Daleks and probably Series 13, but obviously I feel like
It's good to diversify the content.
yeah,
'Cause
I don't
obviously
want it to be the only focus.
Yeah, because when I sort of started making more regular stuff, I had this mindset of it's not just going to be about Doctor Who, but then I kind of fell into just making about Doctor Who, and
That
I haven't
happens,
made something from Doctor Who for ages.
Do you think?
Yeah, that happens quite naturally though.
Do you
Yeah.
think that's
You'll
maybe
find.
because you do other stuff that isn't Doctor Who doesn't do as well? Because I've certainly found that works with me. Because
I suppose, but it's also I genuinely find it sort of harder to write about. I've just sort of found a good way to sort of pick up on stuff in Doctor Who. So let's talk about your channel for a bit. Cynical,
Okay.
kind of what are you about?
What am I about? Oh,
Would you say?
So I do. Again, I'm not particularly original, but I make Doctor Who videos. Chances are you've probably not heard of my channel because I'm not that big compared to these guys.
Hopefully you get a bit of a bump because of this.
Oh, I could
Hopefully.
hope so. Well, they'll probably click on my channel, see my videos, and go, nah. But yeah, it was worth it anyway. I've got I started making YouTube videos back in 2014, which
Right,
we
yeah.
won't speak of because they were Minecraft videos.
Oh no, I can relate.
And but I went through a few different things. I used to do FIFA videos, gaming videos, whatever. And then I took a break. I wasn't really that interested by making content and whatnot until
it was that kind of period where everyone was just trying to make like gaming stuff. Because I even did that on a different channel and it never picked up. I thought I'm going to be the next Game Grumps.
yeah.
And obviously that it just no one never works when you're a small gaming channel anymore.
No.
Yeah, and well, you see, I think it got to a certain point where because around the time I was doing these gaming videos, I was only doing those because I wasn't really into Doctor Who at that point. I was into it, like I'd been into it before, but I think it's gonna be very controversial.
Not enough
but
to talk about it.
Well, the Moffat era. I know people aren't gonna like this, but I genuinely despise that era, and it completely put me off the show for a couple of years. But it was sort of...
It was a controversial era, because obviously people now look back and say, oh, it wasn't as bad or whatever, but a lot of people at the time were not as sort of hateful towards it as they are the current era, but there was a lot of dissension and kind of definitely. People jumping off because of it.
Yeah.
I'll admit the first time I stopped watching was around Series 9. That was like the point where I started to get rid of merchandise and stuff, and this sort of Series 11 coaxed a reaction out of me, and such a reaction that it almost forced me back into it.
Right.
It was kind of the thing that propelled me back into it. But no, I do agree. The Moffat era, in particular, is very contentious. I think, particularly in its sort of later series, it was obvious that Moffat had kind of outstayed his welcome after a while.
Yeah, and it was 2016 where I started getting back into Doctor Who.
Right.
I'd already seen the classic series way before when I was younger, but I began sort of watching more, collecting more merchandise and stuff, and I thought I was watching other different YouTubers and thinking I could, I've done YouTube before and I've never properly done Doctor Who content, I could do something like this. And I started making, I went through a few different things. I tried collection videos, which I still, I'm not completely over with collection videos, I still do those, but it was sort of like a roundup, a sort of a haul in a way. Here's the DVDs that I bought recently, maybe a figure.
It's kind of like what we're talking about with Tom stuff, when you're just kind of throwing out to see what sticks.
Yes, basically,
what works.
Again, I tried things like figure adventures, animations with the character options figures. Those were interesting to say the least, and they're unfortunately still on YouTube. But again, we're not going to talk about that.
I've never really got into the whole figure adventure genre.
I admire anyone with the patience to do it.
That's odd because I sorry, carry on.
Sorry, I was just going to say, I admire the process and the dedication to it, but it just doesn't gel with me really as a viewer.
I'll get back onto that in a minute because that has an interesting story with me and Tom.
Right. Okay.
Because the thing is, it was 2017, and I remember when Smile came out, and at that point, Dave Burgess, you might have heard of him, but he was doing Doctor Who artwork videos. I'd looked up to him for years and years. Right. And I thought, I've been making Doctor Who covers for a little bit now. Maybe if I try and make some artwork, and they're still on my channel. I think a few of them are from 2017. Right. But they are awful. But I just keep them up there for sentimental value.
Well, you got to start somewhere.
Yeah, I get. I like to think I'm a little bit better now. But that's sort of what I was doing those through 2017, 2018. I think maybe I stopped. I think I stopped doing a few things in 2018. I sort of went through a brief phase. I ran a different channel. I started doing maybe some music videos, some different. But 2018 was when I came up with the idea of Cynical Who. I can't remember what my channel was called back then, in fact. But I sort of set it up, and because that was when I was getting into Big Finish, and I was like, I can say a few things, but I never got around to them. But I was still carrying on with the artwork, and I got a small audience, and people were asking me to do different things, and I was thinking, well, this is going okay. And it was until not long ago the Series 12 trailer was dropped. I get up to that point, I was still doing artwork, and you'll see there's a quick change in my channel from artwork, and then bam, new different proper talkie videos. And Max is the other sort of co-owner of the channel, if you will, who's actually my cousin, and he was the only person I could really talk to Doctor Who about, because I'm a sad little nerd who has no friends. And he had just set up his YouTube channel as well, which, side note, go and subscribe to. I think it's called Liam Mousewicks. It's sort of an anagram of his name. Great. If you're into political satire, or at least an attempt at political satire, go hop over there, because he has a series and it's brilliant, and it does not get enough recognition. Anyway, back to the what I was saying. It was around that time Series 12 dropped, and Max said to me, "Do you want to maybe make a video about this?" And we thought, why not? So we sat right here.
Go for it,
and one time, I think I was home alone, and we just chat about an hour about did a Series 11 review and a Series 12 trailer analysis back in one day, and just bam, upload them. And it got a few views, and people started picking up, and I started doing different videos. I
Yeah.
think I did a few top 10s, and some just sort of growing more. Again, doing collection videos, DVD updates and reviews, and the series thankfully series 12 was coming out at that point, and on the nights me and Max would review the episodes and get them up within the first hour or so of the episodes, which was
try and race to
that was definitely
stuff.
good for getting my channel
always
a bit more seen and view wise, I guess, because
Oh yeah, no, series 12 was definitely, especially for me, it was a hugely important time,
definitely.
because
me
obviously
too.
I had maybe about 1,000 subscribers at the turn of the year, which is an incredible amount.
It's
and
stupid how
Yeah,
you're getting this year. It's
but then I remember I thought, okay, I'm gonna just do a big review of series 12, and I started writing it during the series airing. So I was like, I want to get this out as soon as possible, because I knew people would want to watch that as soon as possible, strike 'em while the iron is hot. So I ended up getting it out a week. Like, not even that. I think it was the Thursday after the finale, because I'd edited it, half of it already, because I knew I'd actually seen the leaks, so I knew what was coming. So I kind of had a bit of a head start as to what to expect. So I knew kind of what to write.
Yeah.
And then I released this, was it half an hour long series 12 review, and it just completely blew up. And I was getting so many views on it, and I was like, what the hell was happening?
nice.
And
I believe that's how I found you as well. I think, as far as I can remember, because I think because obviously I used to do stuff like on series 12. I think I used to get recommended a lot of similar type of content, and I think during that you were recommended.
YouTube recommended me a lot with that, and the timeless child video I did. Also with the Weeping Angel video I did, that was originally, I remember being so proud that was on 13,000 views. And now it's like, if a video doesn't get 13,000 views in a month, I'm like, oh god, that video sucked. It's just weird when you get to a point where, looking back, the peak of your week or whatever is now just something you expect to happen. It's just a weird way YouTube scales up as you get bigger. Which
I've kind of had the reverse effect as you.
Right.
Because I've obviously gone the other way, where during Series 12, my videos would, obviously because I started properly reacting to each episode with Fugitive of the Jadoon, because I kind of wanted to take the slow review approach initially, but I realised that views-wise, taking a week to get your thoughts out, by the time the second episode's out, it just didn't work. So I had to sort of go back to the drawing board and be like, right, I'm going to have to get them out either on the day that the episode airs or the day after. And that's kind of my window.
Because that in a way, that's kind of why I didn't want to do individual episode reviews as it was coming out, because I like to take my time and stuff, even if it means the viewers are less likely to roll in. It just means I feel like I can make a much more concise thing once I've got all my views down, rather than the episode airs and then you have to quickly scramble to make something. Don't
get me wrong, I look back at some of those videos now and I'm like, I kind of wish I just spent more time editing them, but I knew that
it's a bit of a gamble.
It was, and it's like, the thing with it as well was obviously the reactions did really well. Like, I remember Fugitive of the Jadoon reaction, because obviously I clickbaited the whole Roof Doctor situation. That got like 10k views, and I was like, oh, okay, that was like the first that was like my first Series 12 video to properly go big. And then shortly after that, obviously I was doing the same reactions every week, and they were getting upwards at least 1k or more. Sometimes it was 5k, sometimes it was 8k, sometimes it was, amongst the other sort of news videos as well. And then obviously I had the Timeless Child rant video, which got like 10k.
In the early days, or just after the Timeless Child aired, anyone making videos about that episode would get so many views.
Yeah,
because just everyone was kind of just looking to get reactions to it and confirmation of their own sort of ideas about it.
I think that is why channels such as like Your Balls Direction and Erotics, all of those are as successful as they are.
Oh yeah, because people are looking for their own ideologies to be confirmed by someone else to give them a sense of validation.
The way I think of it, it's weaponizing discontent.
Yeah, and sort of speaking about that all current discontent and stuff, is it just me? I kind of feel like Chibnall like haters. You find them everywhere on such unrelated stuff.
Oh yeah.
And it's like the stereotype of vegans, where it's like how in any conversation they'll mention they're a vegan. It's obviously a complete false stereotype that is unrealistic. But I've found that so much with Doctor Who stuff.
Yeah,
like
definitely.
you can make a video about anything Doctor Who related, and people will still bring up Chibnall and how they hate the current stuff.
It got to the point. I've had to make a separate video about this because it annoyed me so much.
Yeah.
That was annoying, and it still is annoying. Even I, who gets like 4 views per video, was still getting comments. It was like, how have you found me, and why are you telling me this? Like,
it's just insane. It's you get them on literally any kind of video, because I've been noticing that with any video I've been making, people still find some way of saying like, oh, at least this episode is better than what Chin Balls would make. And it's like, firstly, that's just a stupid name. You sound so immature calling him that. And second, it has nothing to do with the video.
Like, don't get me wrong, I think I may have inadvertently fed them a bit.
Oh yeah, it's
by making my discontent so vocal, but then at the same time, I would do rankings of, Doctors or series or Cybermen or whatever it is, of which the Chibnall era is just the teeniest part. Barely a minute of the video talks about
and they'll
them.
still find a way.
And it's still the majority of the comment section is all the Doctors are better than the fake or...
I think I even got a comment about it on a video I made about Time Lash, which is just impressive, if anything.
Yeah, that really is impressive.
I agree. But sorry about that, I cut you off.
No, that's fine.
But the discontent about it, I think, don't get me wrong, I completely I completely get airing your discontent, because that's the whole reason I started. But at the same time, it's not the only thing that matters in the whole world. There are other things that exist and are happening.
So what you're saying, Tom, is don't say anything, but do say something.
Not necessarily. I'm just saying it shouldn't be the only thing you ever talk about.
Yeah.
And that's kind of why I stopped, because I saw myself going down that route where I was just constantly dogging on Chibnall and the Chibnall era.
Because I remember after my Timeless Child video came out and seeing all obviously most of the people in the comments were level-headed, but there were so many other people that were just spewing out this hatred and stuff, and I was just like, I don't want this as a reflection of my channel. Like, these are not the kind of people I want to have represented in my videos, because I don't share these views, and my videos don't share these views. But because it's getting all these comments, it kind of makes me as a creator feel like I'm feeding these people, and therefore to an outsider it might look like I share these views when I don't.
Yeah, that's the problem, I think, with YouTube, is that sometimes certain people can't distinguish YouTubers from their audiences.
Yeah, no, exactly.
So I think a lot of the perceptions of me came from the fact that there are a lot of people who were very much vocal, and not in vocal as in reasonable, I mean vocal as in that was all they would ever talk about, and anyone who liked it was, soy boy or whatever buzzword they used. And like, I don't agree with that, but like, I think people thought that I did because of that's the sort of people I attract. Yeah. And I think something people need to learn is it's not our fault who watches our videos. That's not up to us. It's not like we can say, you can watch it, but not you. You look a bit dodgy. No. Come on in.
I mean, as you have with, your hate click channels, you can definitely aim to bring in a certain amount of audience, but most people don't do that. They just put a video out there, and once that's done, they have no control over the exact people who come and click on it, unless they're really trying to get a certain audience.
Yeah. Like, as well, I think a majority of people find success on YouTube. Like, I wouldn't even call what I have or had a success. I would call it I think it's just blind luck a lot of the time.
Yeah, it definitely is, yeah.
I think people need to realise that we never, 99% of the time, people don't intend to have these massive audiences where they're constantly broadcast to like thousands of people. People don't, anticipate that happening. So I think people do need to be a bit less critical of people who are just doing this for fun or whatever the situation is.
Yeah, because by all means be critical of the people who are doing it to push a hateful agenda, but
absolutely.
When you look at their other videos and they're a normal, rational human being, then you can kind of tell that, okay, they're not doing this to push any kind of agenda, they're just talking about something.
Exactly. And I realise I might sound a bit hypocritical saying, don't criticise YouTubers when that's kind of become my new sort of thing. But the difference being is if it kind of comes down to a personal thing, really. It's what you see as justifiable to criticise them for. If someone's just airing their opinion about a TV show, does that really, need a bunch of hate? Like, if it's genuinely harmful rhetoric, people saying that all the people of color in shows are diversity hires or whatever, because you say that,
I hate those kind of
I think that did
theories.
happen on Twitter the other day with I won't mention them, but I think you can guess who that was.
Yeah, I think I can probably guess. But that's my point with that, is if it's something like that, then I can understand criticizing. But if it's just someone saying I don't like a TV show, then just leave them alone.
Yeah, I mean, if they've got genuine points, then at least they're creating some actual critical discourse. When it's just Chibnall bad, give me views, it's maybe not.
Yeah, I would say I agree with that, and I'd say I think there just needs to be a little bit more realization that what you say can have an impact on people as well. At the end of the day, people seem to forget that YouTubers are actually people as well.
I find that's a real problem, is people just I try so hard to interact with the community because of that. I want people to know that I'm just a person, I'm just an ordinary person, I'm the same as everyone else. Just because I've got this channel with it's fairly successful with the viewers or whatever, that's not really changed a whole lot about me as a person. It's I'm still just the same as I was before.
No.
It's just, I'm just a person at the end of the day.
Yeah, exactly. I think as well there is this weird sort of it's kind of, as much as there is infamy in some cases, there's also idolization. And I think sometimes people don't understand the balance of those two things. Sometimes...
Oh, yeah, no, I it's weird because people be like, oh, you've got a channel with 12k subs or whatever, you should be happy when people are like, oh, you're cool. But no, I feel weird. I feel weird when people sort of, no one worships me, but when people sort of single me out because of who I am in Discord or whatever, I'm just kind of I don't know, I just kind of just want to be treated as the same as anyone else.
Sorry, Tom.
No, but that was the same with obviously I used to use Discord a lot. I still do. And I remember the first time talking to fans on a Discord, and some of them were speaking to me it's an honor speaking to you, and it's thanks, but I just make Doctor Who videos in my underwear, not always. But
it's just kind of a weird feeling to get. It's because I
fine
don't
then, I'll unsubscribe if you don't want it. God.
No, it's not that. It's just one of those things where it's just, and it suits egotistical people who want to be praised. But when you're not like that, it's kind of you're okay, I'm happy to get praised, but kind of just tone it down a bit,
Yeah. Don't get me wrong, I'm not going to say I love being praised, because that sounds just egotistical.
I get what you mean.
I like
obviously
being praised
feels good
as much as the next person, but I do think there is an element of it where it starts to become creepy if you do it too frequently.
Yeah.
It starts to become they've got an unhealthy obsession, and it's
yeah.
I get it, you enjoy my stuff, and I'm really glad you do, but... maybe
you
just back off a little
bit.
But Tharries, I came and watched you out of your window as you sleep.
Exactly.
The thing is, when we've been doing these, the viewers won't know about this, but the things we've been doing every other Sunday, I think it is. There's loads of people there that I've looked up to for a long time, but I just chat to them as if
Yeah.
I don't go, oh yeah, I love your content or whatever. I just sort of respect them as a mate, just like, you right?
Yeah.
How are you? Not, man, I love that video you once did.
Yeah,
Exactly.
because it's kind of an escape from that, I suppose, in a way, because it's kind of an opportunity to be like, hey, these are just other people, right? Let's just have a fun lockdown quiz.
Well, I remember when I did the podcast, obviously you might know, but before, like, obviously I rebranded, I had a podcast called the Tharries podcast, and I used to get some relatively high profile guests, at least within
like me.
the Doctor Who. Like, yeah, I would say you as a high profile guest, but
not when we recorded it, but
I mean, true, you were smaller than me at the time, which is crazy.
And it never went out because you rebranded. But
no, I still got the file somewhere though. But like, my point is, like, I got people like you had obviously my good friend Will Grantham, who created the Absorbaloff. You had people like Chalpup, obviously otherwise known as Chalpup, Ace Creeper. You had like Wingy Media, certifiably in game. I had like so many different people, and people always used to ask me, how do you get these people to come on? Like, you know, all these
you
big
just
channels.
Asked them, really.
And I was like, I just ask.
Yeah.
Cause
So I just remember you like popped in my comment section once, and I was like, yeah, all right.
Yeah, I was like, well, you just seemed like the sort of guy that I get along with, because I could tell our opinions and way of communicating said opinions were very similar. So I felt as though it would make for a good podcast, obviously, at the time.
It's weird with like the network and the community, because even when I was still quite small, I say quite small, but obviously I wasn't like, I was still maybe at like 500 subscribers. I know it sounds egotistical to say that's small, because that's still a lot. But I'd have people saying, oh, you should do stuff with like Stabagful or I can't remember who else it was. And I was like, I don't know who these people are, because I don't really watch, like, from just as a casual viewer, I don't really watch other Doctor Who stuff on YouTube. So I'm so alien to the kind of the community, and it's only recently, because of this like lockdown stuff, that I've kind of become a bigger part of it and interacting with people more.
I say that's probably the same.
With me, I definitely grew up watching the stuff on YouTube, so I kind of have the opposite thing to you, where I was like, oh my god, it's Ace Creeper. It's like, you know, I obviously didn't act like that in the podcast. I kept it very professional, or tried to at least. You know, like,
that's the thing.
The closest thing to Doctor Who content I would casually watch as a viewer was like the nitpicks videos that he did about Doctor Who, and that was pretty much it.
Nitpicks were pretty awesome. I'll say, like, they're great guys.
That's the thing. I don't know where I would like. I agree with you about this whole lockdown thing and expanding sort of my I say sort of community within the people who make Doctor Who videos. But I definitely think it's probably down to Tom.
Tom has a lot of connections.
Yeah, definitely. Because I remember it was, I think it was back in December or something last year, or November, when me and Max started making videos. I remember Max showing me this guy called Tharries, and he was like, I'd love to do a video with this guy one day. And here we are. And I think it was around February, January when I first met Tom. I think it was on his Discord server or something. And I think Tom invited me on his podcast or something, which again we did, but never uploaded. Thanks, Tom. Yeah. And
no, I think you invited me to the Ascension of the Cybermen.
No. It was
first.
I don't know whether that was first or not.
I got a feeling it was.
No, it was. It was. I DM'd you on Twitter. No, I tweet. Oh, I know. I remember. Because this was when you reset your Twitter account. And obviously you had a large following, but you completely you deleted your account and made a new one, and you had about 20 followers. So I was like, this is my chance to drop in. So I pretty sure I tweeted you, or I DM'd you, and I was like, hey, do you want to do this thing where we review this episode? It was our weekly reviews that me and Max did, but we got Tom on to do the Ascension of the Cybermen one.
Right.
And then I think it was after that. Tom invited me on his podcast, and things grew from there, and we made a few more videos, and I think we've just grown more as friends rather than videos, because like we've probably done like 3 videos together, but we spend a lot of time talking outside of YouTube as well. Like,
well, it's kind of important with that, where obviously, you know, sometimes you will have one-off collaborations because you know they're a more public figure or whatever, but then you also have the collaborations where you make 1 or 2 videos, but then you end up becoming more actual close people.
And that's the thing. It's like the lads at Tomb of the Sidemen, Time of the Whovians. They, I think they started watching back when I started properly uploading with Max. I found some old comments that they started watching my videos, and now I'm really good friends with them. And we've made videos, but like we have a group chat and we just talk as friends, and that's the great. That's what I really enjoy. Like the past year for me on the YouTube community, I've made a lot more friends, because when I started, I was making videos by myself, and like I didn't have anyone to talk to. But like I still make videos by myself, but there's still people I can actually talk to things about, and like occasionally Tom will call me up and give me a few lessons about the YouTube algorithm. I do enjoy that.
Tags are important.
Yeah, and
basically things that Channel Pup told me, to be honest. I'm just
passing it down from father to son, just because Tom is my dad, basically.
Well, no, I remember, like, I can't remember what video it was, but Channel Pop commented, and I remember Tom telling me who he was, like, way before, like, I think when we'd made our original podcast or whatever that never went out, but I remember him telling me about him, and then when Channel Pop actually commented on one of the videos, I was like, wait, what? This person with so many subscribers has noticed my channel.
Well, he commented on one of my videos recently as well. That was pretty crazy.
But then I suppose it goes back to what we were talking about earlier, where they are just people again.
Yeah,
so you think, this huge celebrity basically on YouTube has commented on my video. It's like, well, because normal people watch videos. You know.
Exactly.
I remember I was really nervous when I first spoke to Tom, actually, and then I just sort of realised I was a guy who does things as well. You know.
See, I always find that strange. Like, I'm one of these people. Obviously, we joked earlier that I have a lot of connections. I think that's just because I like talking to people. I'm very much an outgoing person in a way. I like to talk to people, and I think that's like why I've built up the connections, so to speak, that I have. Like,
definitely.
I haven't known Channel Pup for awfully that long. I invited him on my podcast, and he was the second guest.
When did you meet? When did you meet Channel Pup?
I think.
And how? I need to know this.
Early 2019.
Oh right. Okay.
I invited him. Was it late 2018? Either one of those. Either late 2018 or early 2019. I invited him on the podcast, and at that time he had like 7K subscribers. So that should give you some context.
That's nothing to what a small channel.
That should give you some context as to how long ago this was, because now he's like almost at 50K.
Yeah.
Is it 50K now? Blimey.
Almost. He's like 42.3 or something like that. It's close.
That's closer to 40 than 50, Tom. Stop.
I know, but
I get you.
Yeah, like I remember, I invited him on, and he's very nice. Obviously, I thought that would be an interesting podcast because he created the Absorbaloff, and I hadn't really seen a video about that until Vote Saxon did it a few months later. But I was there first.
He probably gets really sick of people talking
he
about
does.
the Absorbaloff.
He does. He's like obviously said since. Obviously at the time he was fine with it, but he said since that he hates that's the only thing he's often associated with. And I can completely get that, because he's done so much stuff since.
Yeah, but it's just like, you're that kid who won the contest to create.
I mean, I feel sorry because
Green Monster.
The episode gets a lot of flack, but I genuinely Love and Monsters is my favourite Doctor Who episode. Unironically,
it's had a huge resurgence in recent years.
Yeah,
obviously,
I liked it before it was cool. Yeah, I was a Love and Monsters hipster.
Because obviously I made my video about it ages and ages ago when I thought everyone still really hated it, but then I think even before that people were starting to defend it more. I'm not saying I started this trend, but it was clearly some sort of community thing that happened. Yeah. Where everyone started liking this episode.
I don't know why that was.
I really appreciate your... sorry, Cynical. I was going to say, I really appreciate your defending the Despised series, because there are a couple of episodes in there that I really like that no one else does. Obviously, Journey to the Centre of the TARDIS is one of them.
There are some episodes that everyone will always comment, people don't hate this episode. And maybe I think apart from New Earth, all the episodes are... not even if they're not hated, they're still disliked by a lot of people.
Why don't people like New Earth?
That's the thing. I think that was one that I did misfire on saying that people hated, because I think I saw maybe here and there it was the same Christmas Invasion. I saw some stuff,
Oh God.
and then when I tried looking into it, I didn't really see that much about people hating it, so I ended up not making it a Defending the Despised.
I will say it does. I would say it feels a bit like tonal whiplash when you go from no second chances, I'm that sort of a man.
Yeah.
To, ooh, I'm
Suddenly,
a man.
everyone gets a second chance.
Yeah.
To
Actually, it's
all of a
something I
sudden,
just because
ooh,
I only thought of this because I rewatched Gridlock last night, but with the whole watch along things that have been happening.
I think like a thing is as well with the watch alongs. I don't know about any of you guys, but I watched the first couple thinking, oh, this is cool. And
Yeah,
tweeted
a
along,
lot
whatever.
of them
And
got
then
boring.
I never really took part in any of them, really.
I took about like on the first like 2 or 3, and then after a while it was like I can't even keep up with.
They
them.
were
Like,
fun to
shut
live
up.
stream. They did well live stream wise, but I think a lot of them got quite consistent and boring. Like I remember what they kept on bringing up like stuff like Journey's End, Day of the Doctor, stuff like I could understand that, but when they just here's the Doctor's wife, I hate that episode.
The
I was
Doctor's
like,
wife.
why the Doctor's
They
wife?
just kind of bring in
I really like
sort of-
Doctor's Wife.
I fucking despise it, mate. I hated it. I just, didn't like that at all.
Defending the Despise.
Oh, I was literally hitting my head off the floor when I was watching that.
I actually really like Doctor's Wife. I mean, I just like TARDIS episodes in general. As a general rule, it's TARDIS episodes, Dream episodes, and like alternate reality episodes, which is like Turn Left.
Yeah, Turn Left,
yeah,
Amy's
it's-
Choice.
Turn Left.
Well,
Can You Hear Me? Underrated one.
an episode that made me want to hit my head on the floor was Revenge of the Cybermen in season 12, which I've heard recently. Apparently, only revisionist contrarians hate, according to a comment on my Curse of Season 12
It's a
video,
nice
which I
segue
released
to the
very
other topic
recently.
we were going to talk
Yes,
about,
it
wasn't
is.
it?
I was trying to be subtle about it, but you just blew that wide open.
I had to admire it.
revisionist contrarian.
But some of the comments on that video crack me up. So many people were commenting like, these are just coincidences, they're not curses, you're an idiot, or something like that. It's like, well, obviously I didn't think it was actually some crazy witch's curse. That's like, it's a stretch of the imagination. It was just a video about the troubled production.
Yeah.
A carrionite just flies on the screen from them.
Yeah, it was just a way of like framing it, to say, oh, this is everything that went wrong. And then there's also this story that some people said about some stuff that happened. What if it, humour me, what if it's this thing?
And then some guy died of a heart attack.
People hate.
Like,
I always find people hate on the tamest of things though. Like I watched that Curse of season 12 video. I really enjoyed it. I found nothing that would offend anybody, and they somehow found it offensive. Obviously,
and obviously you still had people going, oh, I thought it was about Jodie Whittaker series 12, despite a massive Tom Baker on the thumbnail.
Exactly. And then
But
I would say the same about things like I did a video on Floor Gang, which you might be aware of.
Brilliant.
And that's
which was obviously a parody.
A tame joke, obviously obviously Wheelchair Gang's its own thing now. But that's my most controversial video ever.
Yeah.
It's got the
Because
most
people
dislikes.
just see it and then immediately think it's one thing.
They immediately think I'm hating on PewDiePie. I like PewDiePie. I love PewDiePie.
The thing is,
Like-
I like a lot of levity in my channel, and
Yeah.
a channel I aspire to a lot is 5 Who fans, who have unfortunately stopped a couple of years ago, but they are, for me, like the number one. And you can probably tell I aspire to be like them. I have a lot of my content. Like, again, it's nice to do like videos like this where you sit down, your serious face on, you talk. But I also love. I have a lot of joy making videos what I think is probably my favourite video I've made to this date. Is a video called "What Is Doctor Who?" where I just completely turn the idea of the video on its head and just take the piss for 10 minutes.
It's more fun to watch videos that have a bit of fun in them.
Definitely.
It's why I try to I'm not a very funny person. I'm quite deadpan, but I try and sprinkle some jokes in my videos just to make it a bit easier to watch.
I think what
rather than
makes your jokes funnier is because you're so deadpan, though.
Yeah.
It's like, it's
suppose
obvious
so.
when I tell jokes that I'm on the verge of cracking up, basically, whenever I do.
Well, that's the thing. That's a bit of a bad thing, because I've noticed. I've gone back and I found a few videos that Max has made for the channel, and he says them in the exact same tone that he's saying his other boring shit. No offense, Max. I love you
So
really.
yeah, it's harder to distinguish them.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. I don't think as many people picked up on it apart from when I did, and it's like they are really funny jokes, except they're not emphasised enough. But I guess can be funny. But sorry, I thought
I did
Discord
a
crashed.
April Fool's video called 13th Doctor is the best Doctor, that was like my April Fool's video, because obviously I knew that everyone knew that I didn't like it. And I still had people in the comments like, "Oh, she's the worst. What do you mean she's the best?" It's like,
even though it was like a clear joke.
And but like every other video
comments
on
are
my channel.
Comments are a weird beast. Sometimes they're like really just unhelpful, but then like back to the season 12 thing. Yes. I did have actually some helpful comments that taught me something new. Obviously, I have it on the docket here, but I didn't explain to either of you what this is. But I found out in the comments that there's something called the Curse of Chameleon.
Right.
Regarding season 21, I believe, that Chameleon appears in. The two of the people who scripted his appearances have died, and his human alter egos by actors have both died. The software designer died.
I love this. No, hang on. I remember this fondly, because I think it was it was at early hours of the morning. I was talking to, I think it was Dimmy Looming. I was talking to Dimmy Looming and Billy Garrett John, one of my finest moments, and we were talking about this. And I remember someone else in the group chat and the voice chat said, well, the operator died, and then we all I think it was Dimmy who said, well, he didn't just die, he blew up on a boat. That's how he died. That's why they couldn't have Chameleon back, because the guy blew up on a boat. I know I shouldn't laugh, but that is fucking hilarious.
Yeah, I mean, it's just one of those absurd things. And obviously, to top it all off, there was someone. So there was a book written about this, which was obviously, it was a tongue-in-cheek thing. I'm going by the Wikipedia. If you look it up, you'll see that this is basically what I've been listing off. I'm transparent about that, I'll admit. But there was a book written in 1996 where the authors, like, jokingly brought this thing up. And they even said, like, a writer of a missing adventure featuring Chameleon should start worrying. And guess who later died of a heart attack? God. That writer who wrote The Missing Adventure with Chameleon.
That's the thing I wanted to mention, is he did a video about the curse in about season 12. Yes. And I remember a couple of months ago, I think it was maybe it was last year at some point, Josh Snares made a video about that, and he just treated it with such just with loads of humour and levity. It was just like, it's just a curse, whatever. And he was like so funny about it, which I think is what helped. Like, because Josh Snares is the king of replying to angry comments. I think, like he can just own you in a second. But
because I had looked up to see if anyone else had covered it, and nothing really came up.
Oh, no,
so
really?
I mean, I haven't since looked to see the Josh Snares video, but it didn't come up when I looked for it.
Oh,
so yeah, But although if I had looked at it, it probably would have influenced a lot of what I would have made my video like.
All right. Okay.
Because I tend to have that effect. That's why I don't watch too much, because then I'll end up getting influenced by other people's videos.
Yeah.
So I prefer to, at least if I touch on similar topics, I at least know I came up with that myself and I didn't subconsciously get it from someone.
To be honest, I wouldn't worry too much. Like, I say, like, my inspirations are pretty obvious, and like I don't shy away from that fact. Like, before my sort of, I would say it's difficult to pin down my exact inspiration, but I think I coined myself. Like, I was talking to a friend who also did, like, I think it was Channel Pub actually. I said, so I'm basically an edgy ace creeper.
Essentially,
I did like, the news sort of stuff like he does, and the sort of reviews like he does, and the podcasts and all that sort of stuff. But I was never like I was like the not brand friendly version. Like, obviously, because George Ace is very brand friendly to obviously Doctor Who and stuff. He's very positive and very nice, and I love Ace.
You were the 18 rated.
I was the edgy one. Like, it wasn't even so much that. It was like I didn't really swear a lot, but like it was just in the way that I deliver things. I'm a lot more sarcastic.
More like sarcastic and negative.
So God knows what I am.
Yeah, exactly.
My version of you is. Also, sorry if anyone can hear. My laptop is literally overheating. It's about to explode. So sorry if you can hear that. I know I mentioned that.
I can't hear anything at the moment.
I think it's showing it's picking up on my mic, but If you can't hear it, you
right.
can't hear it.
Yeah, this is a very sort of experimental pilot episode, just to kind of get our feet.
I mean, yeah.
So you'll get some technical issues like Cynical's computer trying to explode.
Yes.
Because it was like, obviously, I know, because I remember you like, we were talking about you doing a podcast.
And I was like, I have no idea what I'm doing.
And I had to be like, sit down, son.
I feel like I'm also probably the worst and best podcast guest, because if you want to get it lengthy, I can do so. Because I think when...
So many tangents.
Yes. When me and Max did our Series 12 overview, it was like, let's try and get it for about 20 minutes, half an hour. We went on for 2 hours and 10 minutes. It was... oh man, I don't know how we did that, but...
It's like, I always find myself getting like that. Like, once I get into the flow of a conversation, it kind of goes and goes, and then you get to the end, and you're like, oh, I want to talk about so much other stuff.
Like our like again, the lockdown quiz things. I did one of my own, and I was just left over with people. I think we were talking up until the morning, because like I can just go for hours.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not actually used to being the guest. Like, I am sometimes guests on things, but it's more often than not I was the one who was hosting.
Yeah, because obviously you had the experience of doing loads of your own podcast where sort of you were the host and someone else was the guest. So obviously once you're kind of used to that, I suppose it's difficult to then shift.
And I've never really done it with more than 2 people either. Like, the only exception to that would be another unreleased podcast. Like, half my backlog's unreleased at this point. But I remember I did an unreleased one with Time of the Nubians lot.
Did you manage to get all of them together for that one?
Everyone except Jack, I think.
Oh, okay. I was going to say that was an achievement if you got Jack in, but...
Yeah.
No, I think it was everyone except Jack.
Oh, right, okay.
And that was weird having 4 people.
Because for me, the podcasts I do watch, there's like one that has 2 people, but it's the same 2 people all the time. But everything else is always like 3 people, like 4 people,
Which podcast
like
is that then?
more people. So it's kind of, because I watch that, that's how I kind of prefer my podcasts, and that's how therefore I wanted to make this, was more than just one person to talk to.
Having a good array of guests, I'd say, was probably also something that helps. I think, obviously you can have a regular, but also change it up, have a bit of a contrast in there every now and then. Yeah,
because obviously I feel like you two could be, reoccurring guests that I'd love to have on like multiple times whenever you're available, because, as I feel like this has gone really well. So I'd love to have you guys on regularly.
Brilliant.
Yeah, I'd be more than happy to come on. Like I say, no one's really doing anything at the moment. So no one's, but yeah, I think like with podcasts, it's very much what you want to like get out of it as well, because I kind of treated my podcasts. They were podcasts, but they're
kind of more of an interview.
It was an element of an interview.
I'd say some podcasts they're less of an interview and more like a conversation. Like you don't feel like, I feel like with an interview, you're tight fit. You need to say what you need to say and sort of deliver it formally.
I was trying to go.
Here it's just like
I was trying to go for both.
Well, sorry.
I was trying to. Yeah. Well, no, not like straight interview. Just kind of, because obviously a lot of my viewers might not know who you guys are, because
of course,
I wanted to introduce you guys and say, hey, this is what these 2 guys are about.
First half interview,
here they are.
Second half ramble.
Yeah, it's kind of when you got a guest, that you got to properly set up a guest so that people actually know who they are.
But that was very much intentional when I used to do this as well. It was very much like you'd have the bit where you talk about their history, and then the Doctor Who history, and then just whatever else we were talking. That was kind of
and then you just kind of go off the tangents that come out of the sort of pre-planned stuff.
Yeah, it's like with this, obviously, I know that we talked at length about, this podcast with me and you did, obviously, in terms of what we were going to talk about, the names, and so, can I just say some of the names we came up with? Pretty fantastic. I remember, like, my favourite is the Harbo Heckle. That's my favourite.
Why did we not call it that?
I wanted it to have like its own sort of unique name.
That is very, very unique.
Well, no, but like not like independent of anything to do with my channel name.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I know you probably like. I was like, how did you come up with your channel name? Actually,
my channel. Okay. I suppose I can also give a name pronunciation reveal.
Okay.
If anyone has listened this long, you'll finally found out that it's pronounced Harbo Wholmes, not Holmes, not Whooms, Wholmes. So that people always ask me how I came up with it, and there really isn't like some fancy story about it. It was just me and my mate, and he just started saying it as an inside, and it became an inside joke, just Harbo Wholmes. And then when I was creating a channel, I'm so uncreative with names that I was like, I'll just call it Harbo Wholmes.
I think that's a pretty creative. Like I think my name's pretty, especially my logo is pretty unoriginal. But I think with
it looks good, your logo at least. So.
Well, I mean, you say that's not really a compliment to me. That's a compliment to the Doctor Who production team.
Well, because you changed the colour scheme of it, and it actually kind of looks nicer that way than the actual one.
I mean, fair enough, BBC, hire me up. But I think that's a thing. I talk to this about with Tom sometimes. Why did you change? Tharries was a great YouTube name. Why did you have to change it?
It was a great name. It just became too associated with Doctor Who. I think I wanted to distance myself as much as possible.
But now you're probably not getting enough recognition, because I think I remember talking to someone. They didn't know that Tom Harries was the same person as Tharries.
Yeah, it's kind of weird, because I'm still used to saying Tharries and stuff, and it's kind of weird because obviously if you say Tom. If they don't know we're referring to Tom Harries, sometimes people are like, Tom Who? Which I guess is kind of a pun because of Doctor Who, but...
Who's Cynical? Cynical Who? And then it plays that more than 30 years of the TARDIS music.
I suppose it's one of those things where it just depends on how familiar like the brand is, I guess. Because
don't get me wrong, I do love that name.
Yeah.
But I do think, I feel like it became so associated, like... One of the first search results, if you type Tharries, it is Tharries Bolstrag.
I remember before going on your podcast, I looked it up and I was like, "Am I sure I should, talk to this guy?"
And luckily you did. Luckily
I did.
I think I chose my username somewhat wisely, but I've had a few people telling me that I don't really live up to the name of Cynical Who. It's more like fluffy. I love this story Who, rather because I'm still they'll change their minds once I make this Twice Upon a Time review, because that's where all hell's gonna go loose, and I'm gonna flip the shit.
And I'm gonna send a hate mob at you because it's one of my favourite episodes. Not one of my favourite episodes, but I really like it.
What? Right.
You'll see what in what is it, like 2 years when I eventually get to series 10 in my reviews, I will be doing a Defending the Spies of Twice Upon a Time.
Fair enough, man.
But what I would say
I made a Defending Time Lash video, so I probably can't say that much.
I remember joking with you, Cynical, that you're called Cynical Who, but out of the three of us, at least in regards to the current stuff, you're probably the least cynical out of the three.
Yeah, that's true.
So I kind of wanted to open the floor up and see, what kind of stuff do you guys kind of watch at the moment, or read, or follow outside of Doctor Who at the moment?
All right. Well, do you want to start with me or Cynical?
Yeah.
You, Tom, because I am got nothing.
Okay, well, I can say that I just finished watching Rick and Morty season 4.
Right.
And I'll admit, the thing about Rick and Morty is it kind of does tie into Doctor Who in a way, because it is kind of that formula, but taken to its extremes. Because
I guess. Well, I suppose this is going to be a hot take, but I've never really liked Rick and Morty, mainly because of kind of the typical fan base it has. They kind of ruin it.
But I can completely see that. But for me, I kind of got into it.
Right. Yeah. I get that. Yeah.
Pickle Rick, and before it sort of became this massive meme thing.
Yeah.
At the time, it was just this sort of funny sort of parody of Back to the Future combined with a bit of Doctor Who in there as well. Because you've got the older man who travels through space with his sort of young companion, and it's very much a similar formula, but obviously taken to its extreme, because obviously Rick is basically an a-hole. He's not a nice guy.
It's very sort of an exaggerated.
And obviously Morty's, for the most part, a real idiot. And that's kind of where I find a lot of the comedy in it. And obviously, it's generally really cleverly written as well.
Right.
I do feel that in a lot of ways, Rick and Morty kind of fills that Doctor Who-shaped void that I have. For some people, it's things like... I've seen people suggest, Highlander to me.
Oh, Highlander, brilliant.
Or do you mean Outlander?
Or is it Outlander?
Oh,
I'm not sure.
The Scottish one's Outlander.
Yeah, that's the one.
Oh,
That's the
you-
one.
which actually is inspired by Doctor Who in sense. If you read
Yeah.
into the backstory of that, it's quite interesting.
Well, I heard it was based off of Jamie McCrimmon.
Yeah, but and actually she didn't know the actor's name, but ended up calling, I think, the main character Fraser or something like that. But she didn't even know Jamie was played by Fraser Hines.
Brilliant.
Because she was American, I think, and PBS cut off the credits before or something like that.
Oh, right.
So she never knew.
Brilliant.
But yeah, like Rick and Morty, to me, I can completely understand the fan base perspective, but I think you could equally have a similar criticism for Doctor Who in a way.
Oh yeah, of course.
Like,
No, definitely.
Like we must look like lunatics to some like outsiders.
Yeah,
You know,
and that's one of the reasons why I kind of want to open my channel up and this podcast up to kind of invite more people into the inner circle.
But yeah, Rick and Morty is one of those shows, I think, because it's one of those things, because it's so exposed, because it just sort of blew up.
It attracts so many people.
It attracts so many people, and everyone knows about it, and everyone's made the memes, and it's so overexposed. I feel like it does end up.
It's basically the same as JoJo at the moment. Because I can't stand JoJo either because of the fan base. You go anywhere and people make references to it in anything. Like at one point when it was sort of more niche, I'd see some people make jokes about it, and even though I don't watch it or know anything about it, I'd be like, haha, that's a JoJo reference, funny. But then like now you get it everywhere, and it's kind of just annoying.
I think I'm saying I've been a fan of Queen, the band, for a couple of years, and I feel like
Oh, you mean super indie band that no one's ever heard of, Queen?
Yes, yeah, the not mainstream one. No, well, that's the annoying thing though. This is my point. They completely blew up back in 1975. No, they completely blew up in 2020. Was it 2018 when the movie came out? I liked them before that.
Yeah,
and it's like, guys, this is my fan base. Stop trying to put it into the mainstream eye. This is stop it.
It's that joke with the like the basic white girl kind of thing. Like,
that annoys me so much because
check out check out this really underrated indie song that no one's ever heard of, and they go and play Bohemian Rhapsody. Well, everyone's heard of that.
I think my favourite example of that is like, obviously I don't want to keep dragging Doctor Who back into it, like, when people say, oh yeah, I know Doctor Who, David Tennant? Yeah, David Tennant.
People, I always see people talking about those people, but I rarely actually see these so-called Tennant fangirls.
Yeah.
I have.
I think, I think I went on a date with one, and then like maybe that's my only exposure. I think to the Tennant fangirl thing.
You go on dates,
and you own a Doctor Who YouTube channel.
Like 4 years. 1 in 4 years. All right, it's not a great batting average.
Brilliant. Yeah, fair enough.
But yeah, no. People always talk about these these people, but I rarely see them in the wild. So it's just weird when people act like they're a huge epidemic, and I know they probably are. Especially on like Tumblr and stuff like that, which is apparently the breeding ground. But yeah, I don't see him as much.
Fair enough. Yeah. It's probably a mercy for you. If I'm honest.
Oh yeah, no, because I do have a lot of nostalgia and I still enjoy David Tennant. So knowing too many people like that would probably ruin him for me.
Exactly what happened with me and Queen. Like I just distanced myself from the fan base completely now.
Is there really a rabid Queen fan base though? I didn't even think that was
I mean,
thing.
if you're not into it, no, but it was like,
well, obviously I like the songs, I listen to them relatively frequently, but I didn't know there was this like rabid fan base behind it.
Ever since the movie came out, there has been, and it's kind of annoyed me.
It's like those great unique clothing brands, Rolling Stones and Nirvana, like they could be bands. Look at those logos, they're incredible. It's just like that same culture of just not really kind of understanding like the relevance of these kind of bands or something like that. Like, I know it sounds like we're gatekeeping, but we're just kind of. Well, I mean, I'm trying not to. I'm just saying.
I'm just a selfish.
It's always
bastard.
annoying.
I want the fandom.
It's always annoying.
Sorry.
It's annoying when someone has, like a Nirvana shirt and they don't know anything about them. I don't even like Nirvana, but it annoys me.
It gives me false hope. Because I'll see someone, again in a shirt like that, and I'll go and talk to them. So, so you like that band, and they're just like, yeah, well, I like that one song, and I'm like, you lied to me. You completely.
It's like, why are you wearing merch of
that? I remember when I first started high school, there was this. I think it was this guy who made a really vague school reunion reference, and I was like, "Wait, so you like Doctor Who?" And he was like, "Yeah, I once watched that one with the Dalek," and I was like, "You betrayed me." my day is ruined.
Because it's quite funny because I was speaking to someone once and they said, because I remember in my bio of Tinder or whatever it was, I said, I jokingly said, oh, I get paid to talk about Doctor Who. And then someone said, oh, who's your favourite Time Lord? And I was like, I knew exactly what I was walking into, but I couldn't resist. I went, well, Romana's pretty cool. Omega's overrated. Rassilon's overrated. And they were like, I have no idea what you're talking about. And I was just like, I know.
Yeah, that's funny, man. I don't know, it's like something strange like that. But like, no, I haven't really experienced many things where like I've been into a small thing. And then
It's because you are the person who ruins it, Tom.
Maybe.
It's like you were saying. It's like, this is my thing. I want this thing to still be my thing. But it's kind of, I know we keep dragging this back to the Doctor Who. It's hard to resist. But it's one of those things why all these hate channels are so hateful, because they're like, this is my show. I don't want other people enjoying my show. That's why I hate all these new audiences.
Oh,
Rip Doctor Who. Rude.
Yeah, and it's just like, let people come to the show. It's better to have more people watching the show, because then there's a wider variety of people, and it's not just the same dusty old people like us.
It's like,
what do you think about 13th Doctor fangirls then in that respect?
I haven't really come across any.
Blime? Alright, you never used Twitter then?
Oh no,
Actually, I think it's my fault because I follow most of them on Twitter because I am a massive simp for Jodie.
I try not to use Twitter that much.
Oh, okay.
I don't use Twitter that much.
enough.
I've always hated Twitter. I know I have a Twitter and I do use it to put out,
I love how in like the space of
stuff.
10 seconds you're like, I don't use Twitter, I never use it, and then you're like, I have Twitter and I use it quite a lot.
I don't really use it in a casual way. I basically,
fair enough.
I use it like, I have an audience, this is a way to interact with them, I'll use it for that.
I should use it as a sort of commercial YouTube thing rather than a social thing.
That's kind of what I use it for most of the time.
I don't follow many people on there, only people, because it just gets depressing to read all these tweets about like politics and stuff, and I'm just like, I gleefully accept my own little echo chamber. Alright? I gleefully accept it. I'm not even denying it exists.
But in terms of Whittaker, fangirls, like, I think...
The memes are funny, I'm not going to lie, the memes are pretty class.
I mean, obviously, it is about Doctor Who, really. Doctor Who is a good example of two sides who are both mean well, but don't always articulate their intentions very well.
Yeah, I get that.
I think, like, an example of what I'm trying to say is when I can't remember their names now. But basically, I saw someone on Twitter who's like, F all the the haters of Whittaker's Doctor, she's the best or whatever.
That was probably me. Sorry.
It was something to that effect, and you had a lot of people in the comments who were genuinely like, well, just because I don't like this version of the character doesn't make me any less of a fan.
Yeah.
And
True.
obviously, I don't think whoever wrote that meant it that way, but I can also see how it was misconstrued or came across that way.
Oh no, I think I did.
No,
Stop.
it wasn't yours. But like, my point is with that is that what people see in what you say and what you actually say can also be two different things.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of people, when I did my Jake Paul videos, they automatically were like, well, I hate Jake and Logan. I was like, well, to be fair, Logan has actually sort of what's the word I'm looking for?
Don't do it.
Redeemed himself.
Oh god, he's done it.
Planning on doing a video on this, but if you compare Jake's handling of the
definitely
the rioting compared to Logan's,
that's a good example.
There is a clear difference because Logan approached it on his own podcast, funnily enough, called Impulsive, and he was like, it's not enough for you to not be racist, you have to be anti-racist or something like that. So it's that fact, he was very mature about it, and he called out the people, where they needed to be called out, and he was very good about it, and it was very well done.
And he went to the protest, didn't he? And all this.
No. Logan. Well, yeah, Logan did.
Yeah,
but
Logan did.
he actually protested.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
correctly,
He
and safely.
actually stood up, and there's
You
Jake being
compare
a
that to how
twat in a shopping mall.
Jake handled it, where he quote unquote went there to document,
Clearly just trying to like bait responses. And
he was basically trying to film it for views.
Yeah.
And he's even milked the situation for views by faking his own arrest.
Yeah, definitely.
I think that just shows the difference between the two. One will actually do podcasts saying that this is an issue, this needs to be called out, and then the other one is out there, smashing into shops. I just don't understand why you would even consider doing that. Like, it just seems very reprehensible in my mind. But that's why I make the videos on it, because as I say in those videos,
Tom's
I feel
exposing him.
Exactly. I just feel like it is important to call out things when they need to be. And, Jake Paul is a guy who's got a $19 million net worth. He's clearly a guy of privilege, and he's, breaking into shops.
Yeah.
And you're just like, you've got child fans. Is this really the example you want to set for them? And, obviously that's why that's my main issue with it. But now, obviously, that's why I felt it important to make those videos, because I think people need to be aware that what he does isn't okay, especially the fans of him. Need to be aware that this isn't the right way to behave, and you shouldn't look up to this guy.
Yeah.
He's not a guy you should idolise.
Like we were saying earlier about audiences and, your responsibility if you watch your content. Even if you don't have responsibility for who watches, you have responsibility for what kind of messages you give them or how you influence them.
Definitely.
So when you have a huge channel like that, you really do have to think about kind of what your audience will take away from it and how they take your messages.
Jake Paul definitely doesn't have that responsibility. He doesn't even think about that responsibility.
But to use Uncle Ben, with great power comes great responsibility.
Are you channel pop again? Or?
Maybe I am, but it sounds cheesy to say, but it's true in a way, because
Tom is Uncle Ben confirmed.
When you have a YouTube channel, when you have a platform, you do have a certain power over people's opinions, and you do have a certain power to influence people's opinions.
Yeah.
And you've got to be responsible with that.
For how you do that, yeah.
About how you do that, because obviously the way I do it, or the way I like to think that I do it, is that I don't really try and convince anyone into my way of thinking. I just present them with the facts and give my thoughts on said facts.
Yeah, and I suppose that kind of, obviously as a review video essay channel, even though I'm not trying to change people's views or anything like political or get them to do anything, I try to get people to kind of change how they maybe sometimes look at a piece of media. Yeah. But it's still very similar of knowing that I can have that effect on people, so I need to be careful with what I say.
Yeah.
Because I can't say, oh, go do this, go do that, because I know that some people would. And
you've got to know you've got to know your stuff, especially if you're gonna be making videos about this. And if you're not educated and you maybe say the wrong thing, then there's gonna be a whole backlash, or a whole people are gonna start thinking that way. It's like you do have this power, and you've got to use it correctly.
It's why I never talk about politics, even if something going on in the world agrees with my personal politics. I won't talk about it because I'm not the right person to, and I would have to make sure, quadruple check I'm informed enough to ever make any kind of statement, because when you're a personality on YouTube, in a way sometimes it's not our place to make political statements, so it's better to sometimes just leave it.
I would say the only reason I covered the looting situations is because it was Jake Paul.
Yeah.
If it was anyone else, I probably wouldn't have. But because he was part of the YouTube community and it was relevant to the content I was making, and it also did get reviews, funnily enough, because you clickbait Jake Paul doing anything and it does do quite well.
Yeah.
Even though the last video tanked for some reason, I'm not really sure why. The last few days,
you milked it, Tom. You've made too many videos about Jake Paul, and everyone just hates you now.
Maybe too many Jake Paul ones.
maybe potentially. But my point with it was I wouldn't have done it if it was just some Joe Schmo off the street, because it's not really my place to say. But obviously, because he's part of this community, he should be held accountable by the community that he's in and by the people who are influenced by him. Because another point that I make is that the actions he has, being such a large channel, reflects badly on the rest of us.
Yeah, that's the thing. You wouldn't make a commentary video about Gavin from Durham, who just did a random thing, which was a bit stupid.
Unless it was something really stupid and crazy.
Yeah, but you would make it on you would make it on someone who has a large following, who has a responsibility. You know, I'm not sure how many people really are big fans of Gavin from Durham, but I'm sure he's not going to be influencing a whole lot of people very soon.
But because it's I can't remember if it was Jake or Logan. I can't remember because they kind of blend to the same when you don't really follow them.
They're the same sort of weird thing.
My first ever exposure to them was one of them, I think it was VidCon, running through the complex with a herd of teenagers and preteens chasing him, trampling over people, and I was thinking, this guy has an extremely disturbing amount of power.
Yeah.
That you can get that crowd of people running after you because you said, I can't even remember what he said, I think it was to get some money or something like that. He said, I'll give away money to whoever catches me. So it's just so surreal that people can have that kind of influence, and it's something to be careful with.
I completely agree, and I think like with obviously Jake Paul, he's so big that his actions, as I said, reflect on the rest of us very much. You know, because there is this perception within the media of YouTube as a whole. Doesn't matter what subsection of it is. There's a perception in the media of YouTube as a whole that it's filled with scumbags who just want money out of children. And a lot of that stems from people like Jake Paul. You laugh, but it's true. Like,
it is.
The media generally does kind of take that. You rarely see the media reporting like positively about people on YouTube.
I don't think I've ever once read a positive article by mainstream media about a YouTuber.
No.
No, exactly. Because it's like, obviously, I know a lot of people don't like him, and partly because of the media, but I personally follow PewDiePie.
I do as well.
And he does good stuff all the time. He always donates to charity and stuff like that. The media never reports on it, like ever.
No.
And then like, yes, he gets in controversies, and yes, some of the controversies he's got into are not okay, but the media has built up such a bad reputation on him when he does so much good to outweigh those controversies.
And he's also apologized numerous times. It's like, at a certain point, it's like, why do you need to keep bringing these things up? I honestly think the reason for the media, the traditional media, throwing it's hate clicks, but it also, I think traditional media is threatened by platforms like YouTube.
It's a mix of threatened by new platforms and harvesting hate clicks, because you look at what kind of modern journalism has become in a lot of publications, and it's just these really over-the-top hate-baiting like article headlines that barely have anything to do with the article itself, because they get money based on how many people click on it. So it's literal clickbait.
Exactly. And I feel like, in regards to them being threatened by us, I feel like you realize you look at how quickly YouTube grew as a platform, and you can see why they are. You know, it's like it's the biggest video posting platform, period, and likely will remain so for the foreseeable future.
But then you've also got to consider that YouTube isn't a career. This is always something I've been thinking about, and more so now that I have the prospect of possibly doing YouTube full time, in the near future. It's not a career. No one's ever managed to sustain it as a career. You kind of have to use it to move into something else.
That's true. That's true.
Well, like the people who do manage to sustain it to a career, they're few and far between.
They do stuff on the side that's more
I guess that's why
to prep them for later.
A lot of YouTubers doing like books or music or
exactly.
that sort of stuff.
Because that's something more physical in a way.
I feel like there has been more people turning it into genuine jobs.
Well, that's I was just going to say I KSI is a YouTuber. I respect him because of I think I remember recently he mentioned how his new album, which did really well, and he hardly got any money off that, and he mainly got a lot of the money off YouTube, but he doesn't do it because it's a career choice that expands his how wealthy he is. He does it because that's my dog going crazy. He does it because he likes it, and that's why you got to respect someone like that, because they're just doing what they want to do.
Yeah, because you have YouTube as this one thing that makes you money, and then that allows you to kind of try and pursue something you want to do,
and I think it was,
and hopefully use that as a stepping stone.
It was in 2017, I think, when he just stopped doing YouTube altogether for like about a year, just because he didn't want to, and like that's fine. Like that really shows that he doesn't care about the money, because it was just he just wanted to do what was good for him as a person, and again, focusing on his music at that point. But obviously, his music isn't going to make him a whole lot of money compared to YouTube. So
because you mentioned PewDiePie earlier. I generally think if he made barely any money off of it, he would still do it.
Yeah,
I think because you can clearly tell that he.
Well, it's like his philosophical videos that are like 8 minutes. They're not going to make anywhere near as much as something that's 10 minutes and above because of how mid rolls work.
And especially,
but he still makes
it doesn't have
videos.
as broad of an appeal either as say a Minecraft video. It doesn't have as broad of an appeal like I've seen his philosophy videos, but they're genuinely fantastically made as well. Like, props to him for the philosophy videos. They are genuinely really good. But I agree with you that he doesn't make stuff for money. Like,
but then you also see that
his membership tier. He's got a membership tier now,
and
all the
those
proceeds
go
go to, I think it's a Black Lives Matter charity. But that's a prime example of someone using their platform for good. And
but then you also see the sponsorships, the collaborations with companies and stuff, and like the games he's helped produce and stuff. That's a way. That's like a fallback basically, because YouTube, like, it's still so new that there's still no stability on it. You look at people who were the biggest channels 10 years ago. Most of those are non-entities on YouTube anymore.
But I feel like maybe they made enough money to sort of keep them going steady-wise. Maybe not. I might be lying.
Sometimes it's just because it's so risky and all over the place. So you kind of have to have a longer-term plan. Like I don't want I just so that no one thinks I'm saying I don't like doing YouTube. I really do. I love making these videos that I make and everything like that. I really enjoy it. But I don't want to do it forever. I eventually want to, go into like maybe screenwriting or directing or something like that, because it comes back to the whole real job thing, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's the thing as well. There is a sort of perception that YouTube isn't a real job. There is that perception there as well.
And you're one bad month away from your channel deteriorating forever, and you just become nobody.
I mean,
like you see,
it's quite dark.
You see a bunch of channels that have like 2 million subscribers, but no one watches their videos anymore.
Yeah,
because,
I think the biggest
been
example
so long.
I think of when I think of someone like that is Stampy. Do you
right.
know Stampy?
I vaguely recall the name.
Oh, he's why I started making YouTube back in 2014. So blame him for this mess.
He was a massive Minecraft YouTuber back in the day. Like, he was bigger than your Dan TDMs, any of those. He was there before any of them, and he has got like 9 million subscribers. But nowadays, his videos fail to crack 100k views.
Yeah,
like they're getting similar views to what you're getting now. Which is,
obviously 100k views is still a lot, but when it's like that scaling that I was talking about earlier on, when you've got 2 million subscribers, 100k isn't great.
Exactly.
I mean, I feel somewhat disheartened. You were talking about how you see you're not going to be doing YouTube forever, and obviously you're at the point where you're getting jobs and whatnot. Obviously, I'm still quite young, so I'm not really I'm not really thinking about my future that far ahead. So I'm glad I'm at a point where I can't see myself ending the whole YouTube thing anytime soon.
Well, yeah, no, it's like even though I can't, I will still do YouTube as long as I enjoy it. But it's more of like I don't have any cemented plans to end it. It's just kind of a way of, this is a way to help me possibly try transition into a career path I want. I want to work in the media, so do I, by being a media review channel,
I guess
maybe
that's great
that
segue then
is a way of kind of getting into that career path. So it's not like oh, I'm only doing this to get me there. I do this because I enjoy it, and I see a potential route through this thing that I enjoy to get to another thing I enjoy, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, like I would say as well, obviously I'm taking media as an A-level currently, And after that, I'm looking to get an apprenticeship at the BBC. That's where I want to sort of go.
Yeah.
And obviously, I will say doing YouTube has been helpful, especially when it comes to things like editing, because I had to, I was watching everyone fumble around trying to edit their movies.
That is great. Great. People were coming up to it because I'm doing media GCSE, and people were coming up to me asking me how to use Sony Vegas, and I was like, let me show you.
Yeah, I had that back when I was in school. I would just spend multiple lessons just helping people edit their coursework or whatever on Premiere. Yeah. And then part of the reason why I started making video essays and stuff was editing practice.
Yeah, I think
because
the thing is, I had the whole
to make
media thing in my head. I think before I even started doing the whole YouTube thing, maybe.
Yeah.
I think so. Obviously, YouTube's going to be a great sort of bridge to hold that whole thing up. I think it's a great way to, I guess, I can't think of any metaphors, but it's a great it's
because
good.
Having a YouTube channel, I could then start making audio dramas of audio plays and Doctor Who and stuff like that. Yeah. And through that, maybe, I end up getting a job at, say, Big Finish or something. Things happen
we love
like
stories.
That. Well, exactly. Like, you look at, what was it? Mark Gatiss helped make those BBV films, and he eventually became one of the biggest contributors to New Who.
Well, Benji,
Benji
from Five Who Fans, who was one of the original Five Who Fans members back in 2012, now he's got his credit on every single Big Finish box set as the sound designer, which I think is crazy.
So it's a way where...
Another great example, Christopher Johnson was also a member of Time of the Whovians United. He ended up, being a presenter on CBBC.
Did you say Time of the Whovians then?
No, I said Five Who Fans.
Oh right, sorry, yeah.
I think.
Of course.
Well, no, because he was. I think. Well, obviously he was still friends with Five Who Fans throughout the whole thing. But he was the last member to be before they ended.
Because it's just one of those things where, like, through doing stuff, you can build up, a name for yourself.
And Crystal D, that's another good example, actually, from Five Who Fans.
Yeah, who did the fan show or whatever, which, even though I didn't like the fan show, it's a YouTube person making an official thing for the BBC for Doctor Who.
Yeah, another
so it shows you can do it.
BBC marketing now, I think, or something along those lines, and from doing a fan YouTube channel, I love that idea.
Do you remember the Mission to the Unknown recreation from a while back?
That's another thing.
Josh Nares did a little intro for that.
Yeah, he did, didn't he?
Yeah. So it just shows that you don't just have to be a YouTuber. You can branch out and use your platform to go on to better things that sort of the mainstream media respects more.
Yeah, I agree with that. I feel like I'll let you know a little secret. Like the only the max amount of money I've ever made, I totally YouTube money wise, I made about 200 quid all told. Every video, that's all of everything combined. That's how much I've made, probably something like that. I've not really kept count, but like
you spent it all on YouTube, Jodie Whittaker 5-inch figures, didn't you?
Of course I did, but like you compare how much work and how much money I put into it, making it look good and sound good, compared to what I actually got out of it. It's obvious I've lost money off of it, obviously.
I mean everyone does on YouTube.
Everyone does. So it's never been about money. But what I will say is, if you are a YouTuber, as soon as you do make some money, everyone's like, ooh.
Yeah,
let me leech off you.
I people sometimes ask me how much I make, and it's like I literally can't tell people because it's against like guidelines on the AdSense or whatever.
Is it?
But you look at my you're not allowed to disclose the
Tom.
exact amount you make or something like that.
Edit that last bit.
But,
Susan is disappointed with you.
my social blade says one thing, and I know how accurate or inaccurate it is, and I just think when you look up anyone's social blade and it says they can make anywhere from 200 quid a month to 1,000 quid a month, and it's never 1,000 quid. It's never the highest amount, at least in my experience.
I'd say the same for me as well.
It's like it says a certain amount, so that people think you're making a certain amount and you're worth a certain amount when you're not.
I'm talking here as if I make money. I've made minus money off my videos, if anything.
Yeah. But like that's how we all start out though. But like my point with the whole money story is that like as soon as I started making money, like all family members stopped taking the mick all of a sudden because they're like, oh,
yeah, because people find out that it can actually be beneficial monetarily. So it's like, oh, okay,
Yeah, even though it wasn't a lot, like it was still like considering obviously. I don't know. Obviously, you guys know my circumstances. Obviously, I'm disabled. I'm wheelchair bound. I can't go particularly far. So going to get a conventional job is rather
you have
difficult,
more limited sort of
idea.
Range.
And obviously, I'm in sixth form now anyway, so I probably wouldn't anyway. But like the fact that I could do that and I found a way to make something, I think. Yeah. What sort of impressed people.
You say you want to work at the BBC, you could be a production runner.
Well, that was actually obviously I'm gonna go for an apprenticeship at the BBC. That's what I want to do.
Production wheeler.
But like, obviously.
Well, I mean, working low level at the BBC is roots in like. John Nathan Turner, he was like production floor manager or something during the Troughton era, and then even though it took him decades and decades, he eventually became head writer of the show. Mm-hmm. So anyone from anywhere can get anywhere as long as they have the drive.
Chibnall complaining about the trial of a Time Lord on Points of View.
And yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Like, I'm not gonna lie, like, that would be probably my dream job.
I mean,
your dream would be going on Points of View.
Everyone's dream job.
No,
that's an odd dream, Tom.
I mean, to be fair, if they still do Points of View, I would totally be the Christian. Like,
just angry Pip and Jane Baker looking at you from a screen.
Angry Chibnall looking from a screen.
it's like you get passed down. It's just balls straight going on to complain about you.
Everyone who watches Doctor Who has dreams of being involved with Doctor Who, whether that be playing the Doctor, playing the Master, playing the Companion, writing it, designing it. Everyone has, like, who is a huge fan of it, even if they don't want to admit it, they do. Like, if they were offered a job on Doctor Who, they would take it.
And some have been lucky, like Matt Lucas or someone.
So it's like, everyone says that, I have this dream of doing that, and it's possible. If but then there's also luck about it and who you know and stuff. Like, that's kind of why I want to make more sort of not like actual content, but more like written fiction for Doctor Who and like audio stuff, because then it builds up kind of a portfolio in a way. To say, oh hey, I can do this.
But I think as well, traditional grades don't always cut it either. I think showing that you have an interest in things outside of that, I think quite often gives you that edge, Like, I would say, obviously, the applications for the BBC apprenticeship, I think it's only, like, the minimum is 4 GCSEs that you need.
But it's more of the passion for it.
But it's like, who are they going to pick? Obviously, I don't have just 4 GCSEs, but my point is, who are they going to pick? Of someone with 4 GCSEs who's never done anything to do with the media before, or someone with 4 GCSEs who's done, say, a YouTube channel, or writes articles, or whatever it is.
Exactly.
And
you're not going to put your job at the Who Addicts on your CV, Tom. You quit after a week.
Like, this is my job, totally, yeah, definitely.
I wrote one article and made a spelling error at the end. Don't think I didn't notice that, Tom.
I mean, to be fair, like, I did get a lot of praise for that article, to be fair, though, so... fair enough. I mean, yeah, like, I realised afterwards that, oh god damn, there's spelling errors.
Well, no, because like, I think it was worse than that. I think you wrote it about the Vincent and the Doctor watch-along, and then in the bottom, I think the next one was the 11th hour, and you put, the next watch-along will be Vincent and the Doctor, and it's like, wait, hang on.
Right? Oh, damn it, I think I
You were high.
You're going to go get that edited now.
No, I don't work with them anymore, because I thought, as I said, that was right around the time I fell out of love with Doctor Who, so I sort of said, look, I'm kind of done with Doctor Who for the time being.
Because yeah,
See ya.
I remember seeing the announcement. Like maybe I think it was like not even a week before you then suddenly just completely rebranded and changed everything.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, okay, that was sudden.
Yeah. Yeah, like, I think actually, going back to that, the thing that actually made me want to do that was the April Fool's video. Because, like, it was more comedic and,
Yeah.
you know, sort of loose and more funny and more jokey. That was kind of the thing that sort of made me go, what if I could do this, but with other topics? And
Yeah.
And then, because that was like the most fun I had with the Doctor Who video for a long time. That April Fool's video. And I was like, damn, I wish I could do content like this all the time, but with other topics. And then I was like, but wait, I could do that. You know, there's nothing stopping me necessarily. You know.
Because I did do some non-Doctor Who related videos in the past, and you know I've got one I'm currently slowly chipping away at the editing of now.
Yeah.
That, you know, I don't know when it will eventually go up, but it's something different for once, and it felt kind of liberating to do. Because it's like finally I get to do something else.
The Red Bubble one.
I just pretend to kind of ignore that video exists, honestly.
Yeah.
I've only kept it up because one of my friends says, "Oh yeah, no, I really like the video." So I was like, "Okay, yeah, fine, I'll keep it up just for you then."
Yeah, but also like I feel like it's important to keep those sorts of videos up.
Yeah.
Because it shows that you do have range.
Yeah, no, because obviously, yeah.
So why did you take all your Doctor Who videos down then, Tom?
I put them back
Yeah,
up.
Tom.
Yeah, fair enough.
Everyone's gagging up on me.
It was sad to see them go,
up.
but they're back. So, yeah. Anyway.
But one thing I would recommend, you know, maybe you two might need to do this in the future, but if you ever do need to take down videos with loads of views and stuff, I wouldn't suggest doing it all at once because that can actually damage the channel. I kind of did it when I took it down quite a few of my videos when I was in that huge like peak of my channel around when I released the Series 12 stuff.
The upward trajectory sort of period.
Yeah, because I was getting so many views coming in, I could afford to like delete those like old videos I didn't want without it like having a huge negative on my like stats or whatever. Because if you're say getting 2,000 views in one day and you delete a video with 3,000 views, your views for that day are then minus 1,000. So then it looks really bad to the algorithm and to Social Blade and everything. So I've found it's if you try and keep it at a video you know you can delete that won't push you into the negative, then you can then delete it and it won't be as damaging.
Yeah.
But then I suppose if you need to just mass delete everything in one day, you kind of can't really do that. So
I think the thing with what I did is the reason I took them all down at once. I did have plans to reinstate them at one point, but I needed to test the waters of
the
doing
rebrand,
other stuff, and just to have that be the only focus and that be the only thing to give it the space to breathe that it needed. Like, I'm not saying like if you're going to rebrand, because people do that, then my approach was necessarily the right one, but I do think that it was a lot easier for people to adjust when there was no other choice in a way.
Yeah.
It's like you
it's
either
like get used to it or go home.
It was almost like that, but like I think as a result of doing that, people did start to like it, and I have gained subscribers who know me off of the new stuff, you know, and I think that was something that I would say to anyone who's wanting to rebrand things or change things up, is that
it's kind of just take the leap of faith in a way.
Yeah, I mean, I've had a previous rebrand before this one, called Tharries Films.
You can't keep rebranding, Tom.
The infamous Tharries Films.
Tharries Films, which I got like 3 videos into, and when the views are terrible, I can't keep this. And to be fair, I don't feel like I had 100% confidence in the idea anyway, because I wasn't entirely comfortable with the format. It was much more, in a way, it was much more like what you do. It was very scripted, very segmented, very sort of, like I said, it was very sort of.
Well, I mean, if you're not going to have a lot of confidence in it, then my advice would be don't do it. But then if you're going to see it start doing bad, that's also probably not a great thing to pack up your bags and change what you're doing.
at the time of Tharries films, I was like, my thought process was, I suppose I've not tried it yet, and I like talking about films.
Yeah.
You know, so I thought I'll give that a go. But like, I've realised that my strength now lies more with me just coming up with what to say, and just saying it off my chest and editing.
Are none of your videos scripted then?
Very few are.
Blimey. All right, fair enough.
Most of them are completely. But that's the thing. The fact that you didn't even know that shows that it works.
Yeah,
I guess. Yeah.
You know?
I mean, I script like a large. Obviously, just these random talky ones. I haven't written a 64 billion word essay that I'm reading out to you guys right now. But I think most of my reviews, I at least have. Well, I write them word for word. And if I mess up, I start again. But
because I write all my videos down because I'm not great at kind of, you know, I when I'm talking off the cuff, I say things and then I think way later of something I should have said.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
if I'm writing it, I write it down and I can look at it and then think, I need to say this. Then I can add that in and then record it.
Like from completing the script,
I mean,
like what could I put in there?
I'll make bullet point notes on the things I want to cover in a video. So, for example, I remember which video was it? I think it might be the Suzy Lou one, like who's a YouTuber who basically abuses the YouTube copyright system. There was a couple of different things I wanted to address, like her YouTube partner and her connections I wanted to address.
Just like talking points, kind of.
There was like a couple of different talking points there, like her actual content, you know, stuff like that. Like, I had bullet points for that, and I think one of the Morgs videos I did as well, I can't remember which one it was, but like, I had bullet points for those. And like, I find it easier to just sort of, not wing's the wrong word, but like, have an idea in my head and just do it whilst the idea is there.
Spontaneous.
Like, my first video on the rebrand was a video about a woman from Good Morning Britain who wanted McDonald's to sell pheasant burgers.
I remember that. That was good.
And I saw that video months before, and I thought to myself, that would make a hilarious sort of jokey video. So I was thinking of ideas for jokes for that for ages.
And then I suppose sort of the more comfortable you get in a medium, the quicker you can kind of make your turnaround speed.
Oh yeah, like, I think obviously with the reactions to Series 12, I was turning them over like, you know, a couple hours after the episodes were out.
Yeah.
In some cases, there was a reaction to it accompanying it. But like, I didn't want to be lazy at the same time, in the sense that I could have very easily done the whole, ooh, look at this, look at this, guys, ooh, look, watch this, oh, I'm so excited. You know, it's the very stereotypical reactions, whereas I like to talk about my thoughts more in depth than just, ooh, oh yeah, look at that. It's like, you know, I'm not a Gogglebox person at the end of it. I'm not someone on Gogglebox. I try and be a bit more in depth than
despise reaction videos.
Anyway, I just realised we've been going for almost 2 hours.
I know.
So we should probably call it.
Yeah.
We probably should, yeah.
We can always pick it up another time and talk about it more, because I'd love to have you guys on again.
Oh, thanks, man. It's been a lot of fun. I've enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's been, and I think it was quite good especially for just kind of a pilot, kind of just whatever.
I'd like to see where you take the rest of the thing, because I think that's at least a good.
Yeah.
I've had worse starts to a series.
I might use Tom's vast network of knowledge to get different guests in
like all my
who I don't know.
All my mafia connections.
Most people probably won't have listened all the way to the end here, but if you have, thank you. You're very very helpful to.
You're a hero to us all.
Yeah.
Yes, and for the next one, if anyone in the comments wants to ask any questions for me to answer, then put them in the comments and I will answer them in the next one. And yeah, I think that pretty much calls it. Is there where can we find either of you guys?
Well, obviously, I tend to start, so I'll start. It's just been the nature of the podcast. Obviously, I have the
more famous first.
Tom Harries, but I've got Twitter as well. If you like what's kind of some of what we've been talking about today about YouTube and about the community and about commentary, then I would suggest some of my new videos if you like that. If you like Doctor Who, I've also got a huge back catalogue of Doctor Who stuff, if that's your thing, including other podcasts as well. So if you liked this podcast, then maybe check out some of those if you wanted to. But you don't have to, you know.
And I mean, I also, if you want fresher Doctor Who content than Tom's, then I am still very much in the works of making Doctor Who videos. So yeah, I'm sure Harbo would be nice and leave my link in the description. I've also got a Twitter.
I'll link both of those.
I mean, a DeviantArt. If people still use DeviantArt, I don't know what they do.
That's a name I haven't heard for a very long time.
That's just where I haven't. I'd say that's where I post all my artwork. I haven't used it in a long time. And some other things. Again, podcasts. I mean, there's something in the works, but I won't say too much now.
Bit of something for everyone, really.
Yeah. Bit of music as well, SoundCloud page, but I haven't put much up on there yet.
You know, check out my SoundCloud, bro.
Yeah.
But yeah, and obviously, if you don't know me already, then I am Harbo Wholmes. You're on my channel, so just saying that.
There we go.
It's weird to hear you actually say the name.
Check out my channel if you want. I mean, you're already here, so might as well. I do a bit of everything: YouTube reviews. Well, not YouTube reviews. I mean, Doctor Who reviews. Video essays, other stuff for essays and reviews, and kind of now a podcast, because everyone has a podcast. But I like
is that going to be the
this
slogan?
one is
it's a podcast.
I mean, everyone does.
Yeah,
that's
the thing. I didn't really want to start a podcast because I felt like it was very. I don't want to say mainstream and sound really edgy, but like a lot of people are suddenly hopping on them and like.
Yeah, I mean, I'd been kicking around the idea of starting one for a while.
Yeah.
In like the last 2 weeks, I've noticed like I think 2 other people in like 2 other channels in the community have started podcasts. I'm like, oh damn it, I can copy in them.
The funny thing is,
sorry, carry on, Tom.
No, sorry, I was just going to say that when I did the podcast, I was one of the only ones actually doing a dedicated Doctor Who podcast.
Yeah.
Like from what I could see anyway, because like I remember Ace Creeper had one for a short time called Radio Mondas that lasted about 3 episodes.
That's a nice name, actually. I mean, speaking
name.
of sustaining podcasts, I remember I was thinking about this earlier when we were talking about our initial reactions to the 13th Doctor reveal. I think it's still on my channel. I think I might have privated it now, but back way when Jodie was first announced, I think it was the same night, I did the first episode of a series called The Who podcast, which is a very well done name.
Great original name.
Yeah, thank you. And I think I remember just rambling saying how I am not going to watch Doctor Who anymore, and then obviously
that never lasts.
obviously I did, and like that was the only episode I ever did of that podcast. So that's how good I am at sustaining series. There we go.
I'm not very good at series either, so
I've actually.
If this podcast
is
only lasts 4 episodes, then
fair enough.
You saw it coming.
I mean, I don't know when you're going to upload this, but by when we're recording this tomorrow, I will have officially completed a 13-part series. Woo! That's the first thing.
Way to date the episode, Cynical. I'm joking.
Sorry.
No, I will be trying to get it up as soon as possible.
All right, fair enough.
But yeah, this has been episode 0 or episode 1. I don't know what it would really count as.
Don't do an episode 0. I don't see why people do that. That's strange.
Well, because it's just kind of a pilot, just kind of get things going. But episode 1 of
this is the bubble
Hearsay
shock
machine.
The invasion of the Bane, isn't it?
The TV movie.
Yeah, it's the
backdoor.
It's the summer special. But yeah, thanks for you 2 coming on to the Hearsay machine. We'll see you again, I'm sure of it.
And I'll see you
I'll have
later.
You guys on again.
Nice. So I had to get my little outro in.
Anyway, yeah, that's
there
it.
There we go. Thanks for tuning in, lads.
Thanks for tuning in.
Bye.
See you again next time.
See ya.